Okay, so let's still do our warm up. So let's start off slow marching on the spot. So just kind of pump your heels. Okay, let's try to see if you can get yourself up maybe a little bit taller through the spine. Okay, and maybe a little bit wider through the shoulders. Okay, so let's loosen up our body, our joints first, starting from kind of our spine. Okay, so let's just kind of bring our chest even higher, bring our heart up towards the sky, breathing in as we do so. Okay, as you breathe out, just try to relax the shoulders a little bit, maybe a slight slouch. Okay, and we're just going to repeat a couple more times. Only go as far as you feel comfortable. So if you still feel a little stiff, okay, just take it very easy. You try to move your neck a little bit as well while you're doing this. Okay, let's go side to side a little bit. Okay, staying tall for the chest, tall for the spine while you turn left and right. Okay, try to move your eyes as well. So glance towards the side that you're turning your head to. Okay, and we're going to turn to rotate the entire spine. So swing your shoulders side to side. See if you can reach across to your opposite hip. Okay, both from the front and the back. But take it gradually as well. Okay, let's move our shoulders in a circle. Okay, also bring your spine along. So maybe slouch a little bit more this time as you breathe out. Okay, try to arch your back a little bit more as you pull your shoulders kind of up and back. Maybe tuck your chin in slightly and look up a little bit more. Okay, and repeat just a couple more times in the opposite direction. Okay, and let's kind of bring arms side to side, breathing in as we reach out to the side. Okay, maybe adjust your round shoulder height for now. Okay, and we're going to go front to back. So we're going to breathe in, then straighten the elbows, pull your fingers back. And then breathing out, give yourself a hug. Okay, try to press the palms almost out to the side as you open up the arms. You might feel a little bit of stretch in the front of your arms. Okay, and just try to open up the palm, pull your fingers back at the same time. Okay, let's go upwards a little bit. So we reach just upwards, side bending a little bit. Also try to open the hand. Keep breathing in as well. Okay, so you reach up, imagine trying to press almost your kind of armpits forward a little bit. Okay, only go as far as you can without pain. Okay, so if this is as far as you can go, that's okay. Just do our best. You can side bend a little bit the neck as well if you feel comfortable. Okay, shake it off. Okay, let's rotate your elbows and shoulders a little bit. So elbow stays in place, arms and fingers gets pushed out. Okay, the opposite, you're going to reach into your armpits, extend your arms out, thumb is pointing backwards. Okay, rotate your arm and come back. Okay, and just repeat a few times. Okay, and rotate the wrist a few more times. Okay, open and close in the palm. Open and closing the tips of the fingers. Okay, side to side with the fingers. Okay, let's loosen the hips a little bit. So just go into a hip circle, relaxing the upper body. Okay, try to push the hips out, forward, out the side, and back. Okay, so you're moving your hips more than you're moving your kind of your upper body or your head. Okay, so let's kind of bring your knees maybe a little bit higher. We're just going to go in different directions a few times. Okay, so a little higher forward. Okay, maybe a little bit off to the side, kind of touching the floor a few times. Okay, a few times backwards. Try to see if you can engage your glute muscle or your butt muscle. So if you feel a little tighter as you kind of reach back. Okay, bend and extend both knees. Oh, kind of feeling your weight shifting side to side. Okay, and let's also kind of rock our body forward and back. See if you can go up onto your heels and go up onto your toes. Okay, and last time, just feel side to side. Try to tilt the ankles a little bit. Okay, and see if you can just circle your ankles a few times. Okay, and shake it off. Okay, so let's get ready for our 10-minute set. Okay, so you're gonna hear a beep in the background. So every time it beeps, it's about 30 seconds. Okay, we're gonna do 30 seconds, usually a little bit slower. 30 seconds will be a little bit faster, a little bit more complicated. Okay, so still start off relatively slowly. Just bigger motion than what we did during the warm-up. Okay, see me swing from the shoulders. Okay, so that's 30 seconds. If you feel comfortable, if you feel warmed up a little bit, see if you can increase the pace a little bit. Okay, first round, we're still warming up a little bit. We're just going to bring one knee up and one arm up a little bit higher than before. Okay, so just exaggerating the motion a little bit more. Maybe elbow to shoulder height, knee to maybe about hip height. Kind of a moderate pace or a slow to moderate pace. Okay, and just back to the marching. Use this time as an active break. So slow down if you're feeling tired. Keep it up if you feel like you can do more. Okay, next one, we're still kind of warm up the hips a little bit more. We're just going to reach out and touch the foot on both sides, alternating between the two. So just going to reach out. Okay, arms can be just doing whatever you feel comfortable doing. Okay, as long as you can maintain balance. Okay, feel free to hold on to something if you need to. Okay, but try to reach out to me a little bit more than before. And back to the active rest. Next round, we're just going to be reaching backwards again. Okay, this time we'll see if you can squeeze your butt muscle a little bit. Try to reach a little further back behind you. Okay, just squeeze. Your arms can be maybe moving forward a little bit just for balance. and back to the marching. It's been a couple of minutes. You feel okay. See if you can get to your target pace, which is just a little bit out of breath. You can still say a short sentence, but you need to take a breath kind of in between. Okay, this round we're just gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna be moving back and forth a few times or a few steps. So still get to your target pace. Okay, you can always check your breathing by counting out loud in one breath. Let's see what number you can count up to. So we aim for that you can count to about 6 to 10. So kind of a short sentence. Okay, let's go side to side. If you can always kind of check your pulse as well if you have the tools to do it. Okay, so we're at 4 more minutes in this set. Okay, so let's change it up a little bit. Okay, let's try kind of marching. Okay, but we're going to change it up by just marching on one side arms. So one leg is going to stay the same as like what we're doing now. The other leg and arm is just going to be bigger motion like when we're reaching upwards. Okay, so one leg is going to be moving a little bit more than the other side. Okay, so look kind of like this. Okay, just to change up a little tempo a little bit. Okay, maybe a little bit of coordination. Okay, see if you can maybe switch sides even. Okay, it's going to be a little awkward because we're only kind of moving on one side, so your balance is going to be thrown off a little bit. And back to the marching. Okay, when you reach out to the side, same idea. One side is just going to be maybe a small step. The other side is going to be a bigger step out, and maybe reaching out a little bit more as well. Okay, so small and big. Small, big. Okay, see if we can switch kind of quickly. Okay, or you can just switch kind of all the time. Keeping up our pace. Okay, so next one, we're going to be reaching forward on one side and reaching backwards with the other side. Okay, so maybe right side forward, left side, so leg could be kicking back. Give me just a leg, okay, right, left, and then switch when you want to. Okay, so be right, left, right. So just forward and back. Okay, once again, see if you can switch in between. Okay, just to make your brain work be slightly harder. Okay, or at least being kind of switch, oops, this way. Yeah, so you can definitely get confuse yourself a little bit, and that's fine. Okay, we want to be able to switch kind of left side, right side brain kind of quickly. So we also want to kind of work on being able to think at least a little bit while moving at the same time. Okay, last round, we're going to march a little quickly, but we're going to rotate a little bit on the spot. Okay, so just a little more quickly, we're going to rotate maybe to the left, back to the middle. But still a relatively quick pace. Okay, see if you can maybe even do the turn a little more quickly. So be march on the spot and then quickly turn, 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 while keeping a relatively faster pace. Okay, and let's slow back down. That was a 10-minute set. Okay, let's do a kind of a mini cool down before we start. Okay, so keep moving if you still feel like your heart is pumping faster, if you're still feeling a little bit out of breath. Feel free to, of course, drinking the water. Okay, so let's do our kind of balance steps as a cool down. Okay, so we're still going to be working on the vision. Okay, so you're just going to be walking forward and back, okay, while focusing on one point in the distance. Okay, and kind of looking up and down, but keep the focus maybe at your camera or the screen. Okay, maybe even side to side a little bit. See if you can keep your focus on an object in the distance. Okay, while you're moving your head side to side. Okay, if that feels comfortable for you, see if you can do almost kind of diagonally moving your head. Okay, but your eyes are still tracking an object. Usually we are very reliant on vision, so we're just trying to make it maybe a little bit harder on ourselves. Okay, and when you feel like your heart rate is back down, your breathing is a little bit more back to previously when you're resting, then let's take a little bit of break. Let's check the time. So right now it's 9:49. Let's take a 2-minute break. We'll come back about 9:51. Okay, so it's now 9:51. Hopefully everyone is back. And we're just gonna start our second set. As usual, kind of wrap up slowly. But definitely for this round, or for this set, you can try to push yourself a little bit if you feel comfortable. Your body should be warmed up by now. Okay, but it doesn't mean you have to push yourself for the whole entire 10 minutes. It could be just pick 1 minute during this set and maybe trying to go a little faster. Okay, or maybe alternating kind of one round where you trying a little harder, one round where you take it a little bit easier. Okay, so let's still pick up the pace a little bit. Okay, let's just move the arms a little bit faster. Okay, pushing forward while still moving the legs. We're just trying to move more body parts at the same time. And back to the active rest. Just keep going. Okay, next one will be a little bit harder on the knees. We're just going to be reaching one arm forward and reaching one foot forward. Just tapping a heel a little bit, or tapping our toes in front. Okay, so okay, you can drop down a little bit onto your back leg. Okay, see if you can alternate which arm or which leg you use it. Okay, so kind of this is the same side, arm and leg. Okay, see if you can switch to opposite arm and leg anytime. Okay, so still reaching with our arms, but we're reaching opposite direction. Rotate your hips, turn your hips, move your legs as well. Okay, so a little bigger motion, turning through the hips, pointing your toes kind of in the same direction as where you're reaching, so we're not kind of twisting anything, kind of rotating on the spot. So always kind of check how you're doing. If this is too easy, we go a little bit faster. Slow down if you need to as well. Okay, so next round, kind of similar idea. We're still reaching side to side, but we go from low to high. So we're just going to reach down and reach just to hip level, reach to forehead level. If you feel comfortable, feel free to reach me even down to your knee level and higher than your head. So we kind of low, high. Okay, still rotating through the hips. Move your feet. Okay, and see if you can switch side. So which is the high, which is the low side. Okay, adjust your intensity to your own level. Okay, and then back to the marching. Okay, next one, we're just going to be kind of reaching out the foot, okay, but we're going to be still alternating two sides, but we're going to change direction. So we might just straight out to the side first, diagonally. Okay, so the feet are always moving in kind of the opposite direction, kind of in a star shape. Okay, so you might have to switch somewhere in between as you cross the midline. Okay, so a little bit of thinking. So just imagine like you're drawing a star shape, okay, and you're always reaching in opposite directions. Okay, next one very similar, but instead of just tapping our toes, we're actually going to take a step forward and then take a step back. Okay, but you're always kind of still moving in a opposite direction across the feet. Okay, and you end up drawing like almost like a star shape. Or you can just go forward and back and across. Okay, so it'll be forward, back, kind of diagonal this way, diagonal the opposite direction, side this way, opposite. Okay, so take it as slow as you need to, but kind of switch the legs as you cross kind of the midline, I guess. Okay, so take it as slow as you want. If you feel comfortable, you can go as fast as you want. Okay, and back to just keeping heart rate up. Okay, so next one, when you draw the square shape, okay, we can go march, keep up a relatively quick pace. Okay, and you're gonna do just a quick step forward, keep marching, quick step to the right, keep marching, quick step back, and then that way. Okay, so be quick step on the spot. Okay, and quickly move a little forward, a little bit to one side, backwards a little bit, okay, and opposite direction. Okay, and switch directions. Okay, so it's kind of like being able to keep our feet up. Imagine something flying at you, and you just have to quickly get out of the way a little bit quickly. Okay, and maybe a little slower for active rest this time. Okay, so next one, let's do a little bit of a cross step. So we're going to be bringing one foot behind the other a little bit. Okay, so just kind of slightly behind the other leg, I mean. Okay, arms can just do whatever you feel comfortable doing. But you sometimes get used to being across the feet. If you feel comfortable, you can exaggerate the motion a little bit more. Okay, and back to the marching. Okay, so keep this time, we go a little faster. Heart rate probably drop a little bit. The last one. Okay, so this one we're going to do almost the exact same thing. We're still doing a cross step, but this time see if you can turn your entire body. Okay, so I guess once again, imagine like a shopping cart coming at you and you kind of slide out of the way a little bit by turning your body. Okay, so take it easy if you balance this up. Okay, so see if you can kind of get out of the way. So if you feel dizzy, maybe keep your head looking the same direction. That might make it a little bit more manageable. Or if you don't feel comfortable at all, feel free to stop. Okay, but see if you can gradually increase the pace if you feel comfortable. Okay, so it's a bigger motion at the back, almost a back step, I guess. Okay, and let's slow back then a little bit. Okay, so for our kind of cooling down, let's continue the cross step practice. Okay, so you're just going to be kind of crisscrossing a little bit front to back. Okay, sometimes our legs do cross when we're trying to catch our balance. So we're just getting used to getting comfortable being able to uncross our legs. So if you want, you can exaggerate the motion a little bit more. Take it as easy as you need to. Use as much support as you need. Okay, don't take this too fast. Okay, even take it slow. Sometimes I can make it a little harder. Okay, and we're treating this as a cool down. Okay, so let's check the time again. So right now it's about 10:02. 2-minute break. Let's come back about 10:05. If you're new and this is a little bit difficult for you, don't feel pressure in doing all 3 rounds or all 3 sets. Okay, just do as much as you feel comfortable. Okay, so let's get ready kind of for our last set. Okay, so still, as usual, ramp up slowly, even though this is our third set. Okay, so start speeding up a little bit, slowly getting back to our target pace, which will be different for everyone. Okay, so first round, let's go into more of a mini squat. We just kind of marching our feet a little wider in a tall kind of a squatting stance. Important thing is to kind of stick your bum out. Okay, so try to keep your knees behind your toes. Feet still relatively, your knees are still relatively behind your toes. So just a little bit harder on the thighs. Okay, and back to the marching. Okay, so still kind of moving forward and to the side. Let's try to just march in that stance. Okay, go a few steps forward, go a few steps back. Okay, lower will be harder, so you can adjust the difficulty that way. Okay, so a few steps forward, a few steps back. Okay, go a little high if your thighs start to burn. Okay, keep it once again, try to keep your feet a little bit flatter and keep your butt sticking out. So probably a little tight in the thighs. Okay, let's switch it to the back a little bit. Okay, you're shifting weight side to side. Try to kick your heel up towards the butt. Let's change it a little bit. So let's do, let's kind of count to 1 to 5. So the first time you're going to kick it up. We're going to do it once. Second time, the other side, you're going to do 2. And then other side, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to go backwards. Okay, so it'll be 1, okay, and then 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, okay, and then 5 again, okay, 4, 3, 2, okay, and 1. And back to the march. Okay, let's kind of go back to the squatting stance. Okay, this time let's go side to side a little bit. Okay, so still tall squatting stance. Okay, and just kind of move like a crab, side to side. And once again, lower will be harder. High up will be easier. Okay, when you go one more squatting stance, okay, this time let's do a little bit sideways turn. So we kind of marching on the spot of the wide stance. Okay, and just turn a little bit side to side while keeping the stance. Turn. So a little wider, okay, and see if you can turn. We're going to move your feet. Okay, so you're just rotating your body. Toes always pointing in the direction that you are kind of belly button is pointing to. Okay, so thighs probably a little tight by now. This will be kind of last squatting one. Okay, so thighs maybe definitely a little tight. Okay, slow down a little bit if you need to. Okay, let's take a little break. Let's go back to the counting again, but this time let's do our fingers 1 to 10. Okay, you're gonna switch between the two hands. Okay, when you count to 6, you want to switch the fingers. Okay, so be 1 finger, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, switch to 5, 7, switch to 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's go backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so once again, we're trying to just switch kind of back and forth between left and right brain a little bit. Okay, next one, let's move your arms a little bit more. Let's do the half jumping jack. Okay, so that's just kicking up to one leg to the side. Move your arms up, maybe 4 level, bring it back down. Okay, so not actually jumping, but just moving our arms a little more quickly. Bend arm will be easier. Okay, so for the next round, we'll do the exact same with the arms. Okay, but let's add the cross step to it. So when you lift your arms up, you might be a little slower this time. Move the arms up, you're going to cross behind on one leg. So instead of kicking out, you're going to go behind and across a little bit. Okay, and you're going to alternate between the two sides of the legs. Arms are going to be exactly the same. Okay, so we just a kind of a turning version of what we did before. Okay, be careful you're not twisting your knee. Okay, so rotate your entire body, including the toes. Okay, back to the marching. Almost done. The last round. Okay, let's do almost the exact same thing. Okay, still doing this. Okay, but let's try to see if you can move forward and back a little bit at the same time. So be okay, and so you're just kicking a little further back as you or forward as you move your arms. Or rather, when you step back in the middle, you bring your foot slightly back or slightly forward. Okay, and that was our last round. Okay, so that's a good job, everyone. Let's slow down a little bit. Okay, since we did more turning today, let's do a variation of the cross step as well. So we're still moving side to side. Okay, but we rotate our body a little bit as well. So you're moving side to side. So once again, if you keep your focus on one spot, it will make you less dizzy usually. Okay, but see if you can kind of go side to side while by kind of turning or rotating your body a little bit. Sometimes we are not used to rotating our bodies, and that's when falls can be more likely. So exercise is just kind of practice, especially for things that we might not do all the time. Okay, and if you want to, you can go a little bit more quickly. It's also kind of practice moving backwards and rotating kind of at the same time. Okay, so let's do our usual stretching. Let's grab a chair for support. This is a usual couple of stretches. So anytime we walk a lot or especially marching, your calves get a little bit tight. A lot of people cramp up at night as well for some reason as we get older. So sometimes stretching out can help a little bit. So you can either put it up, just put a foot up with anything that can get your toes higher than your heels. Okay, so it could be a chair, could be a wall, could be a desk leg. I prefer just like a thick book or a yoga block in this case. Okay, and just kind of shifting your weight kind of over the leg, and you should feel a stretch in the back of the calves. Okay, and at this point, you're just trying to focus on your breathing. Try to take a longer breath in, longer breath out. Kind of just relaxing into the stretch, or at least spending more time in a position where you feel a little tight in. Okay, just 3 to 5 deep breaths. Okay, when you're done, keep the same spot. Okay, so this time, try to get your knee a little bit more forward. So this knee is bent now. And just feel more down towards the heel. Sometimes knee problems could be because your ankles are tight. Okay, so if your ankles are tight, your knees have to kind of compensate a little bit sometimes. And that shifts it maybe into maybe a non-ideal position. Okay, that can cause maybe a little bit of trouble, maybe in the long run. Okay, so we do want to keep our ankles kind of flexible or mobile. And when you're ready, you can just repeat the same stuff on the other side. Okay, so the straight knee version first. Okay, the one where you feel high up towards the knees. Okay, just kind of push the hips a little forward. Okay, and then the bent knee version, okay, where you just try to get your knees a little bit more, slightly more forward. Okay, watch what your knee, where your knee is relative to your foot. So we still want to be tracking over the foot. So this will be kind of caving inwards. Okay, so you want the knee to be kind of over the foot. Okay, and shaking things out. Okay, so in the same way that kind of the ankle affects the knee, your hips also affects your back. Okay, so if your hips, most people have tight hips in the front, that can pull on the kind of the pelvis, that maybe lead to more kind of a tilt this way. Okay, sometimes if your back of the leg is too tight, sometimes that can lead to more backwards. Okay, so we also want to keep our hips kind of mobile, which also helps to kind of maintain our back health. So kind of one leg forward, one leg back, feet a little wider apart for balance. Okay, and you're just going to be lifting the front of your pants up. Okay, so we don't want to be arching our back so much. Okay, we want to pull our buckle up. Okay, so your belt, if you're wearing a belt, it should be kind of flat. Okay, and as you do this, you should feel almost a stretch here already if you're a little tight. Okay, and if you don't feel any stretching, drive your hips a little more forward while keeping the back leg kind of straight. Okay, but keep the front of the pants up. Pull that buckle upwards. Okay, and just deep breath in and out. Okay, make sure your hips are kind of centered forward as well. So you shouldn't be turning sideways like this. It should be belly button facing forward, chest facing forward. Okay, 35 deep breaths. When you're ready, just switch the opposite side. So go front ankle this time. Okay, so once again, buckle up, back leg a little bit straight, drive your hips forward while keeping that buckle up. Your back shouldn't feel like it's bending forward or arching back. It should just feel mostly just a stretch in front. Okay, if you can feel it, see if you can tighten up the glute muscle as well. So that muscle kind of pulls your leg back. Or we call hip extension, which is just your feet going backwards. Okay, and oops. Okay, so let's stretch your neck as well a little bit. So you can do the sitting there if you want to. Okay, one hand behind the back. Tilt the head away from the bent arm. Okay, and you can use your other hand to just lightly pull against the head, feeling the stretch on the side of the neck. See if you can drop the shoulder away from the ear as well. Again, see if you can take a deeper breath in. Okay, and then turn your head down towards the floor a little bit more. And this time feeling the stretch more on the back of the neck. Once again, you can try to drop your shoulders down a little bit. Okay, come back, pause. Make sure you don't feel dizzy and you feel okay first before you switch over to the other side. So you don't have to pull too hard, you're just trying to create more space between this ear and this shoulder. Okay, so you can kind of drop the shoulders down a little bit as well. You can try to find an angle that you might feel a little bit tighter in, and you might want to spend a little bit more time in that position. When you're ready, just turn your chin towards your chest a little bit more. And you're still trying to relax in this stretch by focusing on the breathing. Okay, and let's come back out. I'm just going to pause as long as you need to. Okay, sit down to do this if you need to. And just try to shake everything out. Okay, let's take a couple more deep breaths in. Okay, so try to relax everything. Take a deep breath in. You can notice where you might still be holding the tension. See if you can let that go. Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for coming, everyone. If you have any questions, I'll still stick around for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, see everyone next time. Bye.